And the reason that we're live on Rumble and we're not on our YouTube channel.
Well, and on the backup channel too.
We are streaming to our backup YouTube channel, Texas Boys React. And thank y'all for
there's already 2 people on.
whoever y'all jumped on from our backup YouTube channel. The reason we aren't on our main YouTube channel is because we received a strike. They didn't take kindly to our transgender
Video.
talking about the destruction of, the nuclear family and, the mutilation of kids and all that stuff.
Yep.
And the way they groom them and all that stuff. So we got a strike. And so we're dealing with that. So we're streaming live on Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And we just want to thank everybody for watching on Rumble. And we had mentioned the chicken layer feed issue and several channels, and it's been all over social media about the layer feed. And so Natural News, Mike Adams over at Natural News, tested Tractor Supply chicken feed. And I thought we'd just jump on here real quick and go over the results of the tests. And I found it very interesting. So I thought we'd jump on here and do this. We are locked out of our main channel for
a week,
the next week or so. And the strike stays on for like 90 days or something like that. So, all right, let's jump into the article, y'all. And I'll switch over to my Brave browser so I can see better.
There you go.
Here we go. Natural News releases lab test results of Tractor Supply, Producer's Pride, chicken feed, and 5 other chicken feed products. Following widely circulated anecdotal reports of people claiming that Tractor Supply, Producer's Pride brand of chicken feed was causing their chickens to stop laying eggs, we purchased 6 chicken feed products of various brands from Tractor Supply for the purpose of conducting comprehensive lab testing. As background, we own and operate our own ISO-accredited mass spec laboratory and conduct over 10,000 tests each year for heavy metals, aflatoxins, glyphosate, raw material identity, and microbiological contamination, E. coli, salmonella, etc. To my knowledge, our lab conducts more food safety testing than any other non-governmental organization in the world. We routinely test all of our raw materials and finished products that are offered at healthrangerstore.com, where customers know they are purchasing clean, lab-tested, and certified organic products for health and personal care. As a public service, we decided to apply our laboratory infrastructure to the Tractor Supply chicken feed question. So we purchased 6 products from Tractor Supply, Central Texas: Purina, Layena Layer Crumbles, Flock Party Egg Maker Pellets, Nature's Best Organic Egg Layer Pellets, Producer's Pride Layer Feed Mini Pellets, Demore 16% Egg Max Pellets, and Demore Organic 16% Layer Crumble. So they give you some, we posted a link to this article down below, and he gives you some close shots of the tags. Keep in mind that because these are all agricultural products, the following test results are only a snapshot of the ever-changing mix of raw materials and inputs. We purchased just 1 bag of each product, so we only have 1 data point for each product. To really get a clear picture of the composition of these products, it would be necessary to purchase dozens of bags from different retail locations spread out over time. Nevertheless, the results are intriguing. Aflatoxin results. Aflatoxins are highly toxic chemicals created by molds and fungi. They are known to be fatal to chickens, cows, horses, and other animals if consumed in large enough quantities. Aflatoxins are very common in oats, wheat, corn, peanuts, and various grains. They are likely the #1 contamination problem in agriculture today.
Wow.
Aflatoxins limits in the USA for crops such as corn are 20 parts per billion. Anything under 20 parts per billion is considered safe by the FDA. Other countries have more strict limits. The EU for many years had a limit of 4 parts per billion. That has changed to 10 parts per billion. Other countries have various limits, 10 to 50 parts per billion. Notably, none of the chicken feed products we tested exceeded 5 parts per billion, which is good. Interestingly, the Tractor Supply Producer Pride product contained 2.9 parts per billion. of aflatoxins, about twice the levels of the other brands. Here's the numbers. Purina, 1.5 parts per billion. Flock Party, 1.4. Nature's Best, 1.8. The Producer's Pride, 2.9. The Demore Egg Max was 1.1, and Demore Organic was 1.9.
That is weird that it was double.
Again, none of these numbers would be considered unsafe by U.S. food regulators. As a food scientist, it seems doubtful to me that 2.9 parts per billion of aflatoxins could be responsible for chickens not laying eggs. However, I'm not an avian biologist. Glyphosate results. Glyphosate's a weed killer. It is often used as a desiccant and sprayed on crops to dry them more quickly before final harvest. That's totally insane, y'all. This is why glyphosate often ends up in wheat, legumes, alfalfa, and other crops that aren't even GMO. Our mass spec testing on glyphosate concentrations on the chicken feed products show that Tractor Supply Producer Pride chicken feed contains about twice the levels of glyphosate than other brands, at least the one we tested. But even at 19.8 parts per billion, this level would not be considered unsafe by the FDA or the USDA, because the FDA and the USDA wants us all dead. Okay, here are the actual numbers. Purina Layena is 10.7, Flock Party's 10.5, Nature's Best Organic 1.8, Producer's Pride 19.8, Demore Egg Max 2.5, Demore Organic 0. Check that out, parts per billion. That's pretty cool because, I mean, technically organic feed should not have glyphosate in it.
Yeah.
Note that the two organic brands showed the lowest levels of glyphosate, which is expected. The Demore Organic brand showed 0. Note that the practical limit of quantitation in our instrument is around 1 part per billion of glyphosate. So technically, this product could contain something like 0.5 parts per billion, and we wouldn't be able to see it. Importantly, none of these levels of glyphosate set off any alarm bells in my mind. They are not high enough, in my opinion, to explain chickens being unable to lay eggs. The natural drive to lay eggs is very strong in chickens, and although I am not an avian biologist, I strongly doubt that exposure to this level of glyphosate could by itself cause chickens to stop laying. It is noteworthy, however, that if you wish to avoid glyphosate, you should buy organic. The organic brand tested here showed the lowest levels. Toxic elements and heavy metals: mercury, arsenic, cadmium, and lead. We also tested all the brands for toxic elements: mercury, arsenic, cadmium, and lead. On the positive side, all the brands tested at 0 mercury. This is expected since mercury is sticky and very rarely finds its way into agricultural products unless plants are grown in a toxic mercury dump. Here are the toxic elements results we found. Note that even organic products can often contain higher levels of heavy metals. That's because the USDA organic program has no limits on heavy metals. Wow, that's interesting. So there you go. And the USDA requires no testing for heavy metals in organic agriculture. Hence, one of the reasons why we test our own products so meticulously, since we can't trust any organic claim to mean the food is actually clean. So all the results are parts per billion. The Purina had 379 parts per billion of arsenic, 152 parts per billion cadmium, 285 parts per billion lead. Wow. Check out the organic: 137, 102, and 237 for arsenic, cadmium, and lead. Check out the Demore Organic: 269, 151, and 345. Hey, check out the Demore 16%. Arsenic 892, cadmium 689, and lead 588. That is unreal.
But the Producer's Pride's pretty low, though.
Yeah, the Producer's Pride for heavy metals, very interesting. Luff is very low, which is very interesting how that particular the Producer's Pride brand was like one of the lowest.
Yeah.
Even lower than both organic feeds. That is very interesting. Any product with lead over 250 parts per billion but less than 500 parts per billion earns a B. This isn't horrible, but it doesn't meet our in-house standard of clean product. The conclusion on these metals is that all products or tests will be considered safe by the FDA and USDA in terms of their heavy metals content. But some of the products do indeed contain much higher levels of toxic elements than other products. Interestingly enough, the Tractor Supply brand had the lowest levels of cadmium, arsenic, and lead.
Yep.
Thus, the Tractor Supply brand was the highest in glyphosate and aflatoxins, but the lowest in heavy metals. Where do these heavy metals come from? Mostly from industrial pollution that has settled on crop lands over the last 2 centuries or so, combined with some lead-based pesticides that are routinely sprayed on crops until they were banned, such as lead, arsenate.
Oh.
Lead and arsenic never degrade or magically vanish. Yeah, just like dioxins. Dioxins never degrade or magically vanish, which is why there's still lead in these same crop fields. Finally, calcium sources added chicken feed were very frequently contaminated with lead. That's because lead tends to replace calcium in nature, and calcium contamination of lead is extremely common. Even off-the-shelf, low-cost calcium supplements, calcium carbonate sold for human consumption, are almost always contaminated with lead. This is also why lead ends up in a lot of non-dairy milk products like almond milk, for example.
Weird. Oh, because they add in calcium.
Yep, because they add in calcium carbonate to make it look more white and milky. This introduces lead into the milk. Nearly every grocery product made with calcium carbonate will contain some amount of lead in it. So it's just death by 1,000 cuts. Microbiology tests. 2 chicken feed products failed one of our tests. In addition to testing for aflatoxins, glyphosate, and heavy metals, we also test our products and raw materials for microbiology. This includes E. coli, salmonella, yeast, and mold, as well as total plate count. We tested all 6 chicken feed products in the same way we test our own food, and we chose oats as the profile to test against, which means the pass-fail limits are the same as what we would use for oats. The Tractor Supply Producer product passed all the tests with no red flags. The Purina Layana layer crumble product, however, failed the CFU test, which counts the total number of colony forming units per gram of product. The limit we use for oats is 10,000. Any final results over 10,000 is a fail. Notice the fail in the result report below, taken from the Purina Layana layer crumble test results. Greater than 10,000. Parts per thousand or colony forming units. Oh dear, I need a couple more like what do they call those words that you make them out of? Whoa, I'm having a brain fart. Okay, y'all know what I'm talking about when they abbreviate the word and the acronyms. So we need some more acronyms. We all need more acronyms in our life. All us tradcons. Because we need to sound like we're like mental midgets. For the record, this result does not mean that every Purina chicken feed product is bad. Remember that this is a single bag snapshot. It's possible this bag could have been lost by the distributor for a while, sitting around too long on the shelf, or even potentially subject to high humidity conditions that might have encouraged CFU growth. We can't know for sure unless we conduct far more widespread testing. Furthermore, in a healthy animal, even failing this test doesn't make the product necessarily dangerous or fatal. The USDA's own limits may be much higher than what we use in our own tests for oats as well. Understand that the only thing this test means is that Purina products fail the Health Ranger store test. The Flock Party Egg Maker Pellets product also failed the same test, while Tractor Supply Producer Pride Band passed all the tests.
Weird.
Here are the results. So you can see, check out
pass.
Yeah, 0.1. So yeah, some of them were very, very low for E. coli, salmonella.
That's crazy.
Okay, our test did not identify any obvious explanations for why some people are saying Producer's Pride was believed to be causing their chickens to fail to lay eggs. The limitations of our testing, however, are that we only tested one bag from one retailer. So it's only a snapshot, not a comprehensive test across their entire product supply. Also, there are thousands of other possible contaminants for which we did not test. We don't currently test for dioxins, for example. Organic
Mm.
brands tend to be lower in glyphosate as expected, but being USDA organic did not appear to confer any real benefit in terms of heavy metals, toxic element concentrations. This is also expected. Notably, all the products we tested contained some level of contamination of glyphosate, aflatoxins, bacteria, or heavy metals. There is no absolutely clean chicken feed, given that we live in a polluted world where every farm on the planet is contaminated with various chemicals caused by fallout. And with the East Palestine catastrophe, we are expecting to start seeing dioxins and more animal products beginning this summer. So there you go, y'all. You can finish reading about, what they recommend for people that raise chickens. And like I said, there's a link down below. So read the article for yourself, test the results. And
Yeah, I'll say one thing. I mean, back when we were shopping at Tractor Supply and buying our feed at Tractor Supply, all I know is that our hens drastically slowed down or stopped laying.
and several friends that we personally know, even when we put out that video, he was like, I know my one buddy Spence, he was like, I thought that was baloney. I thought it was anecdotal. I thought it was because it was winter. And he's like, I switched up the feed and my birds started laying.
Boom. That's what we did.
Yep.
Yep. In the same week, like boom. As soon as we started feeding.
Yeah. And what's the one we get? What's it called? Super Flock, the Super Scratch.
It's from our local feed store, and it literally smells like Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah,
it's kind of hilarious.
It smells
I
pretty
tasted
delicious.
it, but it doesn't taste like Fruity Pebbles. Sadly.
I think it's from the alfalfa or something.
I know something. It
smells
incredible.
Delicious. Yeah,
but it's just a mix of.
But it doesn't taste that great.
Peas and corn and all types of awesome stuff in there. It
smells really good, though.
And it's pretty high protein, and they love it. So they eat it up all the time. I had to go get some more today, but no, yeah. As soon as we switched from the Tractor Supply feed and put them on there, boom.
So y'all, this
eggs
is
out of the wazoo.
Eggs out the wazoo, for real. And this is a value for value proposition. So please visit us over at the texasboys.com. We're definitely not getting any type of help or love from them tubes since they've so kindly blocked us from posting. So we will be posting here at Rumble, and that will also push to our backup channel. And we're glad that we have Rumble and we can stay in communication with all of our awesome subscribers. We love and appreciate y'all. And check out the texasboys.com.
Yeah, and also we are picking up our honey order from our local bee supplier, and awesome people over there that just put their heart and soul into the bees that they raise.
Healthy honey and healthy bees.
And it's incredible. So be checking in tomorrow evening. We should have everything up and going over there, and
everything, and probably all of our cuttings are going to get turned off because things are starting to go crazy here. Stuff's budding and growing and fruiting, and we have peaches on the trees, and we have more mulberries, more blossoms than leaves, and there is mulberries,
thousands of mulberries,
and we are just praying that we don't get a late frost. That always
would destroy
happens.
Everything.
It doesn't look like it's going to happen, y'all, and we're praying to that end. We were working in the back. I will be doing a food forest update as things continue to green up and leaf out. You're going to love it. It's awesome. It's very exciting. And we will be having trees for sale this year. So keep an eye on our website for some fig and mulberry trees. But that is all for tonight, y'all. You got anything else, Matt? Anything else you want to put out there or share? Thanks for all y'all coming over.
Absolutely.
In the chat from
all 13 of
from the backup channel. And we appreciate y'all. We appreciate all y'all on Rumble.
Absolutely.
And thank y'all. Y'all have a blessed night.